Welcome back to Together We Can's monthly action items. My name is Rob Crain. I'm an attorney in Dallas, Texas, and along with Pastor Richie Butler, senior minister at St. Luke Community United Methodist Church, we are co-founders of Together We Can. And this month we recognize Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month in the United States. And it's particularly important we do so this year. As we looked at in our action items last month, during this pandemic, we've seen violence against Asian Americans increase dramatically, whereas hate crimes across the board have generally decreased. And it's important that we not only recognize this, not only do we take steps to try to prevent these incidents from occurring in the future, but that we make ourselves aware of it, we talk to each other about it, we bring discussion to the floor no matter where we're at about what is happening in America to our Americans with Asian ancestry. Because changing hearts is really the only way we're going to make significant change in the future to prevent these types of incidents from happening. So in May, why May do we recognize this month in America? We do so because it is the anniversary of the first Japanese immigrant to arrive in the United States, May 7th of 1843. And also it is the anniversary of the golden spike, or the last spike to be ceremonially hammered into the first transcontinental railroad that was built by so many Chinese laborers, Chinese Americans. Back in May 10th of 1869 was that celebration. The recognition of this month started in October of 1978. President Jimmy Carter signed a joint resolution that created a short period of time for this recognition. And then in 1990, President George H.W. Bush signed into law a bill that extended Asian American Heritage Week to a full month. 2 years later, the name was formally changed to Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month to recognize the unique history and challenges that our Americans of Pacific Islander descent experience in this country. So we're going to take a bit of a multifaceted look this month at several things. Number one, we're going to recognize many of the Asian American, Pacific Islander Americans who have contributed so much to the fabric of our country in so many different ways, from the arts, sciences, politics, sports, every facet of America. We are America in our experience, America in our way of life, in great part because of the contributions of so many Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. We're also going to continue to educate ourselves as to that experience and what it is like to walk in America as somebody with Asian ancestry, the microaggressions that those Americans face, as well as the experience they have and how people talk to them, how people look at them, how people are unable to appreciate that the ancestry comes not just from one or two countries, but comes from a multitude of Asian countries and including Pacific Islanders, and that it's an experience that many of us need to appreciate and understand, myself included. We're all trying to fill in our blind spots. I've got more than most, and this is one way that we do that in listening to others talk about their experience. So we'll take a look at a number of stories. We'll listen to a number of Asian American leaders and let them educate us as to their experiences. And this month, as we always do, we've got an In Their Shoes feature video. This month, we're fortunate to have a contribution by Mei-Ling Lee Ortiz, she affectionately goes by May. She is managing counsel for the Labor and Employment Department of Toyota North America, Toyota Motor North America. She also recently was co-chair of a campaign here in North Texas called Equal Access to Justice, where she and her fellow committee members raised $1.3 million during a pandemic to provide legal services for the poor, which for those of you who appreciate how significant that challenge is for not just those who are needy in needing financial assistance for legal services, but how important that is for our country in not only continuing the rule of law, but also keeping our institutions intact where people are adequately represented in our justice systems. So we're fortunate to have May's contributions this month and thank her for those. We hope that you learned something new this month about our Americans of Asian ancestry. We hope that you get greater confidence to have conversations with others on subjects that we address this month. And we hope that we see you next month after you enjoy this opportunity to celebrate the heritage of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders here in America.